So my story today, just of course to reiterate, is just talking about really you guys and the vaccine trial and what it's been like for you, just kind of giving a face to the stories that we've been telling and people have been hearing about. So my first question is really just how did you guys hear about the vaccine trial?
Well, before work, we were watching the news on Channel 2 News out of Houston, and it was during the height of the outbreak here back in the summer. And we seen that they were going to be running the trial out of Houston, and I believe they were advertising the Moderna trial. And so we got on and we signed up for the link, and the company that does the trials actually did the Moderna and the Pfizer. And so we ended up getting accepted into the Pfizer trial.
Okay. And what do you know what the qualifications were in order to be accepted?
No, all of that, they just have a questionnaire and you fill it out. And basically they want to know how much you're out in the public, how often you have contact with coronavirus patients, how often you're exposed, your activities, like if you go to the gym, if you go to the restaurants. They want people who are out and are exposed to it, and so that they'll know whether the vaccine works or not.
Oh, I see. And was there any type of health screening or anything that you guys had to go through before?
Yes, correct.
Yes, they ask all about our history and everything, from our medications to surgeries to what all we did. I mean, it's very thorough.
And of course, as a medical professional, Kristie, I know your husband was telling me that you're an RN. Were you surprised by any of the medical screenings that you had to go through beforehand, or any of the questions they asked beforehand?
Because it's typical. You want to know all about your patient that you're going to be treating anyway. So you need to know to make sure that it wouldn't be a contraindication for the vaccine.
And so then once you guys were accepted into the trial, about how long did it take between the time you applied, like did the questionnaires and everything, and from when they told you that you were accepted into the trial?
It's about 3 to 4 weeks from when we applied, and then we called and we did a telephone interview. And then they set us up for an in-person visit to the clinic.
And for that first visit, what was that like? Were there any nerves or anything? Because I know a lot of the questions that we're getting from viewers that as they seem to be a bit nervous about the potential of this vaccine. Were you guys nervous at all with this trial?
We weren't nervous about the trial. We were really looking forward to it, because we view this as the way that this ends and that COVID goes away, is that we get a vaccine and enough people get the vaccine to where it goes away, and we can do away with the mask and people can go back to work and to life as normal, not the new normal as all the commercials say, the real normal, the way things used to work.
I think that's incredibly admirable for both of you all to decide to not only help yourselves and your family members and your friends, but helping people all over the world in participating in this vaccine trial. Can you walk me through what it's been like? Because I believe it was yesterday you said that you guys got the second dose of the vaccine. What has the trial been like for you guys? What does it entail exactly?
First visit was, we went to the clinic, and in the clinic, in the waiting room, were people of all races and ages. And so we were in the clinic in a treatment room for about 4 hours, getting seen by and blood drawn and COVID tested and antibody tested. And then they finally give you the vaccine, and then you have to wait 30 minutes or so before you leave. We knew that we got the vaccine from the minor side effects that we both experienced. And they tell you what the placebo is and what you're going to be injected with if you get either or. And so we were pretty confident that we received the vaccine on the first try.
Did either of you feel any side effects or any symptoms after receiving either of the doses?
The first time my arm was warm to touch, like it had fever in it, but I didn't run any fever, but it was sore, just as if I had gotten a flu vaccine. No more, no less. You know, get a yearly flu vaccine, your arm's going to be sore.
And so now that you've gotten the second dose, any difference or anything, or still feeling the same?
No, well, she didn't have the fever in her arm this time. We both felt the same way. The The first time I just had soreness in my arm and a little bit of the same feeling that you get after the flu shot where your immune system is working. And I have the exact same symptoms this time as I did the last time. And so the vaccine is such a tiny amount. It's 30 micrograms, which is 0.3 milliliters. And so you barely feel the injection. It's a tiny needle, and the amount of medications injected, you don't even feel it. And so as far as getting the shot, it's not painful at all. I don't feel anything until the next day when my immune system has had time to begin working.
Okay. And I know one of the clinical trials recently, it was AstraZeneca. Their clinical trial has recently been put on hold after people started having some adverse side effects. Had you guys heard about that up until, I guess, just right now?
Actually, as soon as it came out, I seen a report of it and I Googled it. And there's differences in the way both the vaccines are constructed. I believe there's so many vaccines out now, it's unreal. The AstraZeneca vaccine takes a virus, an adenovirus, and puts parts of the coronavirus into that and then gives you that virus, the adenovirus, and it's considered harmless. This vaccine takes parts of the coronavirus. It takes the protein that the spike on the coronavirus is made from, encases it in lipid, and then they give you that. So it's a completely different way that the vaccine is constructed, and so it seems very safe to us. And from what we've experienced is that our immune systems are responding to it. When people talk about, the flu shot gives me the flu, well, that's not the flu. That's your body responding to the flu shot. And so far, our bodies have done exactly that. The same sort of minor side effects that you get with that. We experienced any part of anxiety about the whole experience. It's been very professional.
That's good. That's good. There are no nerves or anything like that, because I know several different news polls and just polls in general of people. A lot of people are saying that they would be nervous about taking a vaccine once it's even approved. So what would you say to people who would be hesitant or say that they would be hesitant about taking a vaccine of this nature?
Well, for us, the risk is way lower than the reward that we get from it. So it makes a sense for us to do it. And it certainly makes sense for people with comorbid factors and anybody that's out and about a lot. So the alternative is either take the vaccine or wait to become sick and see how severe your case is. We would rather take the vaccine than wait around to get sick. That's the alternative. And so then there's no guarantee that once you get sick that you don't catch it again. It's a new virus, and we don't know that that's the case. It may be like the flu vaccine, that we have to get the coronavirus vaccine once a year as it mutates and changes around. So for us, it's much better to get the vaccine if it's available and proven safe. And so we don't know if it's safe yet. We're just in a trial. And so we just wanted to put out what has happened to us during the trial so people will be able to know that, hey, some local people are doing it, and the stuff on social media, you can take it for what it's worth, but that was our experience.
Okay. And so what's next now that you've had both doses of the vaccine? Is there any follow-up care, or do you have to do any follow-up visits or anything like that?
Yeah, we have an app that we log into daily, and we put if we've had any new COVID symptoms. They gave us a COVID test to take home if we start having any symptoms. We have 24-hour, 7-day-a-week access to a physician. We have another appointment in 30 days when they'll draw our blood and measure our antibody response to it. And then we are followed for a year afterwards. Okay. We have for a year.
Okay. Gotcha. And now, Kristie, going a little bit back to your background and everything, have you had to work with many patients with COVID-19?
Yes.
Okay.
And sometimes we don't know whether they have it or not. So we're double gloving, double masking, double face shield, everything, because we're up in the airway with being an OR nurse and everything. So, yeah.
So especially, do you think that, seeing it firsthand and so up close, like we always say, you're on the front lines of this, both of you all as first responders. Do you think that that shaped your reason for deciding to take part in this trial?
Yes, because I've seen what these people go through. I've seen them being put on a vent, and if I can prevent that, that's what I want to do. And if getting a vaccine, helping, you know, somebody else not be put on a vent and not being able to see their family and all saves a life, then it's worth it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, is there anything else that you guys would like to add, or anything that you'd like to mention that maybe I didn't touch on?
No, we were just basically trying to let people know our real experience. There's so much stuff out. Social media is a good thing sometimes, and sometimes it's a bad thing. And coronavirus has been politicized more than anything that I've ever seen. And so people play games with other people's health. So we just wanted to try to show, you know, what the real background behind the vaccine is that, okay, so we took it and this is what happened. And we'll let you know if we have any big side effects. That's the last thing I would want is to do this interview and then leave it at that. But if we happen to have big side effects, we'll let people know. If we happen to catch the coronavirus too, we'll let you know about that too.